Memo watching na memo akwaba emfa umbra na watch dwumadi so ewo Adom TV. If you are trying to so ewo Asempa 94.7 FM na watch na akwaba betu ya say to me esinkonya na yedwundwe oman Ghana ho. Na watch we nim say Minister of Interior at the Infishemu year into the election 2024 and 2020 no ebetuja. Na no mu eno kan say Hawa Koomson and some other tones was a welcome and comfort during the election, no, or say MP Nukrano can say one and she wasn't even in the convoy. And some investigation, no, looks like I exonerated Hawa Koomson innocence in that particular, accusation. There no any other matters arising from that particular investigation. Now. 9 months for Nnawotwe any ate omukọ baby kodejuma na ekroma for no etesha omoso na enye ize police for amma enka ye nte asem papa na enu mu na MPs mienu bi ho a ya bo modin se omo hye akire ena na esi ye na si ye ye nim se ba kodi akokọ otma ya man bail ye bedi hu nkomo ye bisa se sa galamse fight here cause we 9 months ebetumi awini after sa attack e cause we na and then again no akra no yenim say EPA ehase no mu close down some warehouses are no more nyoma ensemfata in the galamse no no eno mo so ka akonya accident e behwe senior no so ebekọ akosi na PDS ene Ghana Echo, the International Arbitration Court, and a ruling biaba. Yebeshe, niye yimun kakra ni yina ni yetumi atias ye. Nemo mse yebeshe asia yebeko kumase if you say Ghana Journalists Association ye award ceremony no ebeko so ewo kumase. It's a historic and see that. Inti yebeshe niye baby yimun kakra na onso yetumi atias ye. From Samuel Kojo Brace. Now on behalf of the production team, memo bi akwaba baby awa audio if na to ya dase. So I join here ne ba be diga na honkomo oni entra ye twa hotel ye ba madam abedwafo no edi a kire na so be ohu omo amene on be digment oni entra ye ba sisi a memo akwa bio fambra na Nnawotwe dwumedi so na mabedwafo so atna formenti me no mo di nkira na ho omo amene on be digment Dr. Ekwiamwako Deputy Communications Director for the Baumia campaign team. Joining us, Doc. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have a code there.
Nnawotwe.
Because all the bro from Kwana you.
I'm in chair with you for Nnawotwe. Yeah, we studio hanging.
Okay. Mahmoud Kabore, a PRO for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. You're bidding come about Galam said, yeah. I mean, he's right to help us in knowing the by a year the effort or more put in place. Kabore, good morning.
Good morning, Abuja.
We have a good day.
Don't we've never thought it would be easy. But as a word on my Fahone said the name no would TV and you would want to carry it. Okay. Carrying this cross for God and country. Okay.
Amen. Come on. Amen. All right. Yen konkoshe Hawa Koomson the video be or yeah abransen way by we are beti you the Minister of Interior Muntaka Mubarak Mohammed on also there then some of the betuja after the investigation has been done and more the revelations of muhoye yen konkoshe Hawa Koomson we are Minister there na to
Nano Centrofo nhye mu aswafo hwa manwe ho nsam so Muntaka Mubarak Mohammed e de hye so efa abato mu mentem ho ase akoso o mamu no de to dwa sensam a mrahye bedwani yogina ho de mo manfo wo awutu senya east Phyllis na akoyo okuno e de betu dwa se ebra to afimpi mmeni adwani na yabato no na kane mrahye bedwani wo ho ma me mebisa wa Koomson eta no so a wo pende kunu a empo na nkofo mienu bi e ka no ho no onum nyina ato anananom e wanse do na aswafo ne kira a sansam no a ma me ne betu dwa no ono ankasa mpo agya atum se enya ade a na ye no kredit da biara da asɛm yi amomanfo agye atum sɛ maame Hawa Koomson sɛ afei de ne ho atumi asane no na nɛ dwaso nsɛm dwumadie so ɛwɔ Adom FM ɛna maame Hawa Koomson de ato dwa sɛ sɛm a maame na akɔyo ɛka to ne so nyinaa no yɛn ho a na yɛ nokore no no de ɔbɔ mpaeɛ sɛ manwani bia enkohyia maame a ne dinde na akɔyo firi sɛ ɔyɛ obi a ne ho yie paa na mpo abato ne mu no ɔtaataa no ɛwɔ kwan bia so wabra ɔnyɛ ne bɔne bia
me bompa yese man wo bia isia politician bi ti say na akoyo we o ko contest na wo sia wo bi ti say na akoyo ene yese wo so na yi 2020 ni gina yi enti me o mako yi 2024 me say enye hwe na wa wo me ba sekan na ka opese wo ku me ba no me nim ne amaye no. And it's like she was able to instigate her people. So, but when you now be a time to see the man and me bano.
Eno echi osade awasobonsem ema soafo hwa manwe ho nsem so Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak se empo ni hwehwe mu ba abonten a wono ankasa na manyoku ni ba eho bon mu no wankata so amuamu aso ni mum ode ba abonten ebebie mu pefe ema obi eho no kura ewo mu
le tie le ni so woni nyame wa ya mame me ya esanye me ni je say at the end of the day are they vindicated say enye me Hawa Koomson ena ntra koyo etwa to me so no me na me ye enne obi ehu wi ase ni na ehu eti me bia ni ameka ne say me dabambofo na omo ye investigation no ene ni amini abema Honorable Muntaka Mubarak interior minister so say ono so
Abraham Rashibidweni yogina hodimo manfo wo ewutu senya East Phyllis na akoyo okuno e friends and trafo nhia mu eno de atodwa se enya nokre da se ono eka kire obia se afempimenu ne aduonu na yabato no nipa binom anta no yanka wo penekuno emu de okan ya ne se penifo nye no yen hwemu nkwase se ne be ya sam na beba abonten no enkoye se wonuma buntanche bia eno wonuma antiase a eno ntu mo je na no esi boni.
I remained quiet despite calls by well-meaning Ghanaians, including my constituents, who witnessed these brutal attacks. At no time did I say no attack happened. I stated emphatically to the task force that on the election day during my rounds, I noticed my convoy was being followed by a V8 vehicle, allegedly known to be used by Hawa Koomson and a Nnawotwe pickup, which had a green government number plate. After visiting some polling stations, I decided to go home because I felt my life was in danger. So I am convinced that at the conclusion of this investigation, the truer facts will emerge.
Owie no sa chechedi ntia na osusu se ono wonom ede na brabo ato esan mu afempimienu ne aduone na yabato ani mu pa na o kire se na sade o hyewbo ye wo mpotem ho ene omanfo bi tae tata no na oye no hwia enyi.
And officially, I have not given my written statement to the police yet due to the ill treatment during the 2020 election violence. Therefore, statements on the media are inaccurate and not mine. Let me end by saying that as the sitting member of the good people of Ewutu Senya East constituency, I consider myself a mother for all.
All right, and some member tuja, Yakoti Hawa Koomson at TFLS na koyo nso na yesa kan minister for interior there and so the baba tuja no so what me ho and some member tuja Nnawotwe we memra studio Mahmoud Mamin Shase mfo ho otie ne koyo na I said because I've seen Facebook post Honorable Phyllis and it was emphatic say Nkofomienu have been killed but eventually abasa enyesa na tie
amina wasibebre my mo abaso no pe we no akomfo nyina amemfa asede mu drum ma wahefo wono agibre na adaje ne yedi dwumadie and there is on the 8th, and then in the Emmanuel Amakufibwa, Kwesi Ghana Mampani, in Ghana for United, I will COP30 climate change, Hong Kong, across Berlin, Brazil. And maybe I'm about to be an pay Bonichidom, Eternity. He delivered one of the most powerful speeches in recent times as far as our environment is of concern. And Santi said, the offer to Japan piano, he will receive all the push that he needs from the Ghanaian people, and indeed will succeed, especially the battle against illegal mining for our lifetime. Nkomodia ekosui M1. I'm say Ghana hano asembi abeto ho obi a said the otiasiefa. Na decode no obi a said the decode no fa. Anya sa minim what could warrant Asemo Interior Minister Bekan for a former member of parliament to start jubilating. Minim the intia Yamami Hawa Koomson will jubilate. Jubilation no is born out of what? Winia. Yakwa kotwaba. Obi se mahu se lorry bi edimachi. Obo lorry krudin abo number plate kura lorry aka ho number plate afasu ni se de tie nyina. Oso susu se sabre na nkwa edansani yani. Ena ono ayi free mu kofi koje akobo no ho adwa. Subsequently within that day na cars a odinam ni bi yako attack no. Mahindra pickup. Through the attack, Obi famushire nankwa. Obi so enkwa kura dansoni eni a oguso ji ayarehwe. How does that make Obi innocent of an accused crime? And now say, how does that make Bami no ono na asem no ato no ne na manfo? So ye kuntumpini. Menti ase mi nimba bi o ase Obi ebi mwanya omo perceive interest bi na eno na omo de kira asem no ase. Utie onobu mutaka report or the buyer. One can say you can attack Mahindra pickup yana okay. So it's a fact. One can say through that ambush, Obi famu hwede nem kwa obo nipa krodiana. Someone died. One can say through that ambush, Obi so prayer me no kase nem kwa danso ni yana. He said that. Which one is Nkrofobi has been vindicated and ebi mutu antro no? Which one is that? And free never told. As far as Mami is of concern, Sebi, Interior Ministry, Nipa na ye juma ho nya sura bofo. To potential oversight to cry ye kan ho asem no, e bit be asi. Because say omu press reporting, name Mami nso beka na di ebro 24 hours. Nti say ampa say asema Mami ka kire ye nei, say wono anka nkire your friend is saying the tax force so will be an to the sosa will be a car be an dinner na ono dear no assembly anywhere. Bijis about tax force on the Interior Minister be no. Because silent means consent. Okay. Inti asemno said the mamma no cano. Bijis a honor was a day adjuni, honorable fellows now call your cano. A honor was a day adjunico. Say, yen hwehwemu man in si form. Na yesa hwehwemu na betimi aboya me ehunu nia onim asem no hu bi ene nia ne ho son. And indeed the Interior Ministry have told us say we die animanim ya de a omayo hwehwemu no nyensi. Has Honorable Hawa Koomson been invited by the tax force for questioning? Has any of her party faithfuls been invited for questioning? See, invited one clear or there. Where is the jubilation and the vindication coming from? As a Nkrofobi, I'm in a more breakuti in Huna or more. I'll make a meti magical Mamikabidi. Meti Mujidi way institution, true resetting agenda no. Umu sefa or to my friend Umajina brand. Until let those institutions work. Now, when you're Mojuman Kwesi form, now you feel moonua because me crowd. To be very honest with you, I wasn't impressed with Sir half-baked information in the Interior Ministry. They buy no. See, any of you move here, dear. Oh, honey, I don't need a prayer who did be able to abandon. Remind you, these are matters of life and death. sensitive issues kura one way betimi aso ko generative before. I'm not trying to say say no pay sebia so sebia kronto minimum the same penifo we interior ministry. But in my honest opinion as a young man no, na me feel say aden yen wie hwehwemu ni nyina na fe de yesigina ya yetimi yesigina ya. A typical example, yes, Nkrofo Bikura has been declared wanted. Yekuroma declare be wanted, what do we do? See a bonidin. You my brief profile. It will grad in the phone you never told. Said by a civilian, no, you see a tool of investigation. No, yet to me up why you move be to me up authorities and Ambwa. We are saying up to date. Do you have any of those people that have been declared wanted? Who are moving? Who are moving? Who are moving? Who are profile? So, Messer, my prayer in an attempt to solve a problem, no, do not compound to the problem that we have. I am happy. So at least in 4-8 years, Ababi Boone and Iguswa went to Mianyano. Honorable Mutaka and the Interior Ministry, in a matter of 10 months, have done a milestone about it. But, Messer, more prayer. See it me train 9. Papa bia. It will try and be all those times. Our money be beyond for one. I think we are patient enough. A bit take him one of Mutaka, fear me numpo. Now, some word drasia me and Puma Sibria. Na Chese, acquire be a year to us a yens and send one as I'm a fife. Naying in Ayati, who I say, now so tribu more. Ya master and I are such a pewa. You see, as some senior true be a swan yet tiny a town. Nemumi a hesse. Yo ye no ya so twa no be ma na ye nsen na ho no foforo so ankwanko ye bio broni friend deterrence and until lessons must be learned, people must be used as scapegoat na eno ye nsen na wa ma mo maka se kwa kuko ye na no huko wie se die enya de abenso me de me ho kwa ede kwa shem. Enough of the jubilation, enough of the name calling. Me tell unions and trophy because we saw my Hawa Koomson into the bachelor now or the chahwine. Based on what? Based on what? Enti mesre me before says I'm going to no one here granoa say lawyer law no mranim for private back say it's prejudicial to be celebrated and to be calling on the whole world say you have been vindicated and what have you. Enti or if you that is what we are told by Interior Ministry. And see form. Now, so totia, be so the body who be so now you know what some kind of
Felix now call you okay no can say the convoy near attack no. And she was nowhere near the scene of the incident. When they kind of cry.
Is there even an issue about say now call you say attacking the convoy? I know what can be and no one can. In the first place, my main account, TNU,
or your Facebook post.
Let's not set a question and answer it ourselves.
Or your Facebook post.
Or say, or no convoy who say a certain V8 purported, allegedly, to belonging to Mami Hawa Koomson and Nkrofo. Any a certain notebook pickup had followed them almost throughout the whole time. Into who say, na nemkwa yada nsonieni. Into ye they will free her. That doesn't mean saying the convoy now know what the operation is stopped work. And apparently it was part of the convoy na Yambushi. Did Honorable Mutaka also not said say part of that convoy no Mahindra pickup no can no attack your man. So I then I say ebi mu trap baby ayo mo den no answer na the real picture na no was people attacked or not. Now Koyo didn't say on the election day say she has been attacked, she has been shot and killed. Now they want nipa
me on the Facebook post too.
See one ya bonu to
no. The convoy attacking 2 people have been shot.
Is it not what the report is saying?
The report says or saying the convoy near attacking.
Well, you see you I was saying what the convoy means.
Okay.
Wabechiremu he has come to give birth to that assembly. The convoy me tears here. Na say me no convoy. Recently I saw Honorable Hassan Ayaraga convoy akunya accident or Amasama. Doesn't mean Honorable Hassan Ayaraga was part of it.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
So we have to understand. The team ni be car, the convoy number be the aqua attack cars ni be. It's different from saying she is personally part of that convoy.
And I must say, the report says she denied her convoy was attacked.
She has come to say she didn't give any of such information to the task force. It's been 24 hours. What is the task force in Abekasa?
The task force not
what is a task force? That was why I say it's a BD Kasanam said the task force are human beings, they are not saints.
Okay.
It is almost almost said the Americano, no credit or more oversight to be no more to the Sans in 24 hours, the Ombituma Bihiano. So I feel said, Mamma, soon they try in 24 hours, it is enough time for them to come and answer. But as far as I know, asem bi wo ho asante se woni hu dance ya asem no wa bitwa ho fire dance ya cars di machi misuro si ebetimi akume me de mi yifiri mu cars nda so ye adwuma apparently cars ne bi akọ attack cars ne bi ya botu obako ahwere no nkwa obako nso nkwa dance onyani true or false is it what the interior ministry is presenting or not
Mate me that's
te munya ese mo sha say na mo to dum frem ma say ye mesin ko na ase so no there's nothing like jubilation and vindication in this
Mama Dokumbre
no krenim massive kakra say e pese yetna ha ne yesa gymnastics with assemtan tan ekosui Facebook post now reference no me timi atweaba. Honorable MP Natural say Hawa Koomson tried to kill me. 2 of my agents are dead. On one Facebook and otro ade no. One manensi hwa or ye some media tour of sorts. Me shows on Salmon station equal Kasaya and I'm sure but there were about 3 different media outlets on your Mokasai videos ne wo obia pa obetimi akotie. She was very emphatic. Say o convoy ni mu na ye chase no. Hawa Koomson enko. In fact, o can so confidently it said utie de o can obegin say ohun Hawa Koomson no e wo kan na e chase ni mu no. And this was a time ya toaba tensions here very high. No nim exactly the na oye to raise tensions and create Yebeka said disaffection ama Hawa Koomson na wetimi agisa ka so seats no e ade ye nimguasie eni se yesoso e wo ye politics ni mu enye saa na obi asori obi di ntro but metiase se NDC o mobile into 2024 election no na said nebe o mo be manipulating no kre na o maka half truths ni ade no na e ko mo campaign strategy ne ho nti na AI no mo de be fight galamsey no ye da so te ha e twen nti na galamsey no de bia deteriorate because no credit no kwanim de o man kan che Ghana for na scam no edorso 2024 minim se TF4 and menu akojo so hu press conference na honorable member ne ye afi ne kasa na o kan election day so confidently or yes allegations ni na say wadane na no on one press conference no honestly na very difficult to watch what's so or break ni ho atire no wasem ni mu it's very clear Ghana for nyina asem no I be Ghana for nyina make your judgments into there's no way I will be with me atena ha I so peso ochinchi masem no afa ma me say allegedly Hawa Koomson ka into ugina sa 20 this election day na confidently na wo accuse ma me no na wonye sure is that what we want in our politics emma ade we ye chinti ablekuma north election rerun kakra ye koye ye nyina ye hwe de eto ye ma me Hawa Koomson enkofo board chenku so ankomo bu ma me yekunu ne bonni a after that incident no ye condemn ye ka NDC for na sa be ka che say dey see workers one nti she deserves it na ya asefem because impanyifo a sebi oye nyina ye bu omo wokrom ha nyina epie be ka asa asem ye bi na afei abaseta asem na mokafa ne ho ne kran nye no kre ntimi bisa no peyo sa ablekuma north rerun asem yi se Hawa Koomson FM hwere ne nkwa anke ye be den ha ye be ka se ye ntwen ema investigation ni nwie and it's no mean person and na be ka se asem we nhwehwe ni mu hwe nim Minister of Interior Moama by mu we be ka se home match nti utimi hwe se ade no ono afo ne so to the point say o choose the sanity and dignity of Ghana no de mebo na baso kakra say one year kataso mu so we are man no kre no ebedi edi because I can imagine say it's not a small thing me sure say honorable minister nanka so yes no enye easy man because it's never easy say wow nipa ubeka no kre even knowing say no kre ne be kwatia no nti no ye mo na baso say o man ne da ho totin because enye asem keto maame no efa mu hwere ne nkwanka wawu kwa me sure sanka by this time kwa ya kama asem no to atwa nti asotwe bia e deserves for some misleading na ye maame current MP4 Kaswane ye no dear she must get it and na ye njai sen ye pese ye beautify asem no say ono akwa nim se do ye no ankoyi na say ya chaupe bia I do believe say public apology is definitely the right thing to do because Hawa Koomson, but you can just imagine the amount of negative emotions and go for Istoki man. I feel I said she's a violent person, and it just goes to explain Nyama BSCC in the past 2020 assembly registration center assembly. Then me sure sending na kwa mokane din just to make sure say mobile near to MP no every seat so. And our politics are here no so. Me who say was a son ye no. Ehun hia so obekwa akodi ntro aka bibia fa opponent because o person o gene seats Kaswa good people of Kaswa na person represent obeka asem e beto o masun say medimpuntu obeba ha mo problem say wo ha with the way within my remit as MP no meye de metimi aye na me de aboa mo na o campaign strategy ne say o person o cause disaffection Emma the opposite utuni ne dia den a oto bede di tisenia na call you etwa dedi because me just say Facebook post no we delete bankofo circulate ya ma ewo ho the allegations were very factual afi ye bisa wa also na woni ho nti den na wo hu say Hawa Koomson ene ne nkofo na na echesi den na wo hu say Hawa Koomson ne nkofo na na etututu no ana si say owo eyi ohun ade ana bibisa a otimi hu say de oyema na de wuni ho de ekoso you don't know nti they were just allegations I will spill that time so na wo kasa no wa magana for anti ase say allegation o kan net senya wo gina ho wo hu ade no e mankofo gi wudi nti si say what ade a waye no wagu hu animase wagu party hu animase wagu Ghana for animase nti so obeba be pa achewa na wa pa achew ne ahwede e be koso.
Well, interesting. Yes, how the investigation will go. Kabori.
But
I'll just give you a minute.
To say, incident is see what Kaswa and ma honorable Hawa Koomson kwablikun attacking and it's not born out of fact. Sabi nipa bia no de wu sabi e wu twa na de wani mu twa. This is a woman who has gone to her own constituency where women, pregnant women and children are gathered just for purposes of acquiring a voters register card, a registration card. And one of a Rambo shooting. You take the same attitude to Ablekumanov. Omoye ran. Obi ba where you pepper spray. And you think Obiana, what does the law says? Oye ne bia na say or how bia obi di ba osono. Who kwan wo mrem so obezeti equal measure to defend yourself. That the pepper spray but me the pepper spray. Na me what twede ade na mfanya. We have never condoned violence in this country. But we will not also sit aloof with hands akimbo and watch people to maim and destroy the life of other people. In the name of politics, that is not how we build a country. And until no dear menuaba. Maame no ne open na wonyaye again to say AI as here do go galamse wa hino asante say the obisa kwan obisa for wonyira kwan ka me ba ye say wona akasa ma so ye no mo ye amose mo de ba ku galamse we na ma take you through. So today we are doing what we call tracking of excavators. Today we are doing what
come there now. Tell me that all of this is not new. When did the geofencing start?
Geofencing.
Kabori say mamani pepper spray.
Right.
There were police people there. Why not? You can say. Inform the police about
why you pepper spray me and video. If I'm I'm so surprised this morning.
When the car say you do election grounds, but be back or why no dear will be a fa a also no ever. Election grounds you trouble to a be all grow trouble when the baby.
Oh,
no one you pepper spray. Offer me my own me too many.
No, Kabore. Baby, no Jine.
Baby, I bear no Jina. Dear, if I no Jina. Let's not justify violence.
That's what you are doing here.
But what you? Son said, Susukuru wa Susu Amauni.
Justify violence.
Wuyi pepper spray so be say
Wuyi pepper spray.
Well, who pepper spray?
Video ni no Wuyi TV ni so. Where app they are coming at you to attack you have every right to defend yourself. Now walk up the person saying
the person
you can't also eat pepper spray.
What
that's you are continuing on this tangent.
You saw that poor journalist. You saw that poor journalist. It be a good and she could not even.
No, this one you have to pass you. Why out the video?
Why is everybody pretending?
Sorry,
a first class human being.
No, but we also eat pepper spray. There was no journalist standing there. We all outside.
After everything had transpired, there was a young girl, a young journalist. The videos are there. Search for it.
Attacked by one of your tags. Pepper
spray in the oh, pepper spray. No be so ninja tredia. Massa, the other buy yes and the job quiet. But what I say? The other buy yes and oh, said Debbie America, Mrs. I bought a good film Uramba fee. No, but she, your friend say, Aqua. Now this young Cassa. Thou be back when or bet you this year. But and that is how you that is how I must so how I
am says obi ayi pepper sprayer. Also bonus.
I am say oyi pepper spray me say my name defend me when say this law to defend myself. I am ra. This obi a we catch obi ana me know there. Say ja lawyer fu but I am rapa bupa bisa lawyer penibia say defense. The law of defense
or court in this direction.
Me person me knew about the TSS. Ablekuma ho de to maame no. Na nye incident e si wo kaswa. After all, na nye na call you so abane to no ablekuma no. After all, na nye mrantie no we na yie ne no ablekuma no. It was entirely different political and democratic exercise.
Okay.
But ahunu bi penti.
Yeah.
And I one wa e call ablekuma no. Omo boa wo.
NDC fo na tina TV so. E ka che say how or deserve it na the idea why you work as 20 and na idea and one am kind nobody is coming
have you come to
so many
have you attended any of our press conferences as a party ni ye ka kire wo say Hawa Koomson asem see e ka 20 na nipa na bi
yes asem opese o ma ye je
na we say NDC na me say
NDC rep e kwot
which rep
from my so na wo ka dia
NDC ni ben
your reason for not violence pepper spray it's na member be 10 etugu ne so boom ma minute etia ne ye
me dem hu ni mama 10 people go pay dem hu no
oyo unua ba ka obetimi atena se
to be very honest with you me person e be drag no much but me nua ba me so wa me mama will never do what Hawa Koomson did.
What did she do? Sorry, Mama Nuns. 2020 no. Hawa Koomson be on toward be and come over by Momonchino. One thing in chain in the dear.
Mama Yanko anywhere. I've Yambra Galam since and some so and attack a called 9 months so. And no, I was a Thursday. EPA, Mameno, Edin, and Kofu, and Nimko, close down Galam say, I mean, warehouses are no more Tongalam say, Nioma. Africa see a Vienna or Mokwa accident. You don't know whether say a boy Payosa there, but Mamin chance in feel Hokabori again because Mona more, you know, more oversee the fight against Galam say, no. Attack na course, no. Has it done anything to the fight?
Bravim.
Attack no. The baby about fights more na jojo be more na so then.
Hey, offer. Debi. I feel crying na she cry. And adibia obeya obo say nipa ka ho asem. Ana nipa bi sorry yet and it means you are doing something right.
Okay. The course Shedi no.
Yes.
Me just a monya briefing.
Yes.
Good. Yen konko share visuals and bra ba briefing na wanya now they am
University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAC, akasetia omanfo womokoto share eye naimos eni womo etim so ewo hwidim womo ekra de si ya womanfo bi esusu se mrashebejeni owo esutifi north Ebenezer Kwekuado ehye mrantewa bi echi senka womanfo womo nam kweti kwan so ekotu egudu a womo achi omo no na safoi womo hwese womo ebeja womo kira sana montue eyade a emo akra ewe bibimam womo to aso se kobane sa na ma womanfo eni gidie ewo man no emremu womo de atodwa se ho behia pa se womo pe ankranfo bi na womo yemu enhwehwemu de mu da ho fan efa to a womo to hye woni so no na bebi emra no eda no womo mfanto na mfa ho na nkobane se obi esuro anase obi ekoye obi emoa womo de ato mrahwebejafo enim ene amanyofo enim se womo entwe omo emfi niema ahodo bi mu a ekotia eye oman no emra na womo entu anamo a ekire se womo eya kandifo na omanfo nso ensue bi UTAC ede atodwa se ne omanfo enim womo no womo bekosoa aye campaign ede etia eye galamsey ewa kwan ahodo nina so
warehouse bi ye no ewa anwan kwanta wasantemantam ne emoyo osusuwe se China dehye no bi na ye wono mo ede ye kasei akwakoto mu esanse eho no makwakoye bia bia chanfan fidie wono mo ede akosisi ho no mo siesie ho enye no nko a nkade bia wode yetu afuma gudi anya ne kwan so ne nyina bi ewo ho no mo sa operation si Environmental Protection Authority won mo ene de hye so na hye dan che bia na ode amane bobetu dwa ye kire mu se chanfan fidie wono mo eba bebra ewo man mu na won makwan mo bia nkokra bi Vanchene say na video no starting na sheda no insist so my but abore briefing be na monya
so when say can say I have abeka mantam be so a galamsey atiate se wo ho obroni say 7 endemic regions na ya yen hye bebre say be say true policy direction ibe yi mrantie no a omso munya ba bi ndidi nti omakogu nsuo ne ye kwa bretu can say any Nimont Ghana ye advanced conversations are ukukuru biti senka semu ukukuru biti se Kenya sene miayaka omo legitimate concession ya omo jifri Ghana by home omo transfer sene biamaya ya starting engagement ye packaging as cooperative mining e dia mamabuna ho na esefie bia mensa wo to go why irrespective of all these alternatives are they go abontia money pon take advantage of no obepese bone no ana ono di obeye so there is the punitive aspect of the whole strategy of fighting illegal mining. That is the 9 months operations. 9 months on sujuma di no omo na bonta. There is the enforcement aspect and there is an engagement aspect. Tina no memenda uraka na obo na mranti enso bi yese o mekwa hafo no makoya dia friend stakeholder mapping the be ya mra so say o nya engagement no o mehu the right stakeholders you're supposed to engage and all of that. I no mu duru kura fro broni krum na gadam say bi koso e wo hono asante says yes mo se kwache bonsamra na o si adwama mofo wudini soku fekuboni na osanya na je say wanya adwuma pasan say bonsom adwuma no mo ye to mo ye operation yire samranti yakwa say kire say no mu di boni. Among the notable faces and names omutimi arrest here was one Zakaria and one Kwame Ales. Zakaria no site will no use Range Rover tax force no confiscate here omo seize here. Na Kwame Ales use Toyota RAV4 omo bag bi asem mantwa so ba bi na pistol etu nkuma bi ni ade afi bomb action gun etu esika button 11,000 Ghana cedis omo phones ni ade we say yemfa omonko hwidiem for their statement to be taken. Now they should be prepared for court. Kasa ne nyemu no na Honorable Ebenezer Kweku so wa picking intel say arrest na operation na ekoso no nti mabunu bi bo omo ho ababa ye nti ebe ya yehwe kwampa ebitumi ase with the situation entretre. Whatever that meant, apart from going a bit much them. So your police station, you me do model police station where you take your more in the of our main cabin. Ya near break. Hey, na me menda 1st November, the here for the entry of Moka when you have say. Sena Mranti as a more Mukan Zakaria and a Kwame less. More or less, Omuna or Moyen penny forward, John area honum. Apparently, sites and I call operation and say, yes, he belonging to that Zakaria guy. Mranti woman did the mom be dear. Dear name, either say, you be Zakaria and Kwame less, no more near my dear in Abba Momo. No more so I'm a soldier for no co, and that's almost opening my soldier for no co. Dear Chumamentrapa, Shidanka Rade. Zongo chief of Warfidium is a very respected man. Papa Neba Mua. Beckham. Me no can say your doom light. Adia Sosa. One we could be after a sumo advantage I could try that to pro station. So we had to succumb to sa irate you to your homo demands. Lazy homo and insuiting evacuate soldier for me no can say 9 months cars I do going in our cell. The video now who you know a Hwidium Zongo chief. And I didn't Toyota Sequoia. A man say, I'm moving evacuate a soldier for no. And no crowd had no my actually.
No, but the question, but your narration about the MP, no say, no, I pick intel, say boys need be ye be no. And no one can say neck or kind and say by brow, or no say no quay ye. And not to say a funk of force, so he called the MP. And MPs on no call, so ninko for any dinko bonyobia, and no call her, trying to speak to the people. But the fact about what is happening,
listen to his audio well.
Okay.
The reason he also different Honorable Collins Ada, which Honorable Collins Ada also denied flatly. Or see the reason or different, and they say the pressure that was mounting, or go won't me say, the boss if he needed them. So he called, no, send you no call now. Or making sure say be Bonnie be answered and see. So he actually came based on no intel our pick say nipa be mas and mean to me in Kase or boy because one day Mranti go to police station when it didn't take even up to an hour. Then nipa Mranti about police station bro 600. So it means it's possible say intel or Peki and was true.
And the police in the society,
but
he allegedly mobilized them to come.
That's what I'm saying, say, as to how he got that intel. No, I am happy say he's going through investigations, so you should be able to tell. But what I say, but of course, I may be saying quite so they see what he did, and need they see what the intel of Wasema mean Kabusia ya. You should hear New Penny, Major Maxwell, Adam Mahaman, Susunebi Umwana. Because you send so be any mudia. Not the children say what happened in danger of Boas no Ghana and be free. Because in Casanti say the old part the Akokotokono, see a yana bro. Now most the end saying, see a bear who being to Sikako Kwambone so, and make our highway in Suni and Sassy and quiet truth. It was not the inquiry as some pan bro. I don't know so to the Susa. And unti, my this lady decline. All relevant stakeholders. As someone see what Hwidium police station, there are videos in who among 4 faces. Mestre, say as many as possible young men we can pick, we should arrest them. 2, Mestre, say we should move a form. 3, whoever is found culpable. The no who bia so why wine mesre say mrano ni no because that is the only way sa boabo ni be ya yenyi no ya hwe yo baba dane aboa kase abechi enyina awe no ebetimi de huna bi mu aba o matwe o ho afiri mu amma na sa dia ene na ye police station pu no munya kukudu rawe that could be that sort of no matter be take over the whole interior minister, defense minister, and interior minister. That's in the Galamsey for the BD of my. You remember the issues that happened in Colombia about drug cartels in Yadi. My year Nurusa Mpomponso. But I can assure you, so that incident, has not in any way caused 9 months of Merayo. Because from there, an operation war Western Regional, Ukwa Kango, Ukwa Value, just yesterday they were there for operation. Another operation in the Eastern Regional, and also a course. It has helped the soldiers. It has also directed their next level of strategy. I been informed they also cope and the NSS free.
But we're in any deviation from the big wigs and a president nation so bet you. Because if you still go to the Galamsey side, the big wigs are not there, the financials are not there.
But we cannot also say in the name of a big wigs, we should allow the small ones to continue the bleeding. It is about stopping the bleeding and tracing the big wings.
Okay.
But what I say, until say you may stop the bleeding, no. If you want to win peace of mind, the ground find investigation as a fata. Among your big wings. But you know, make a day manu a sin say, she say who doing in a gusu. Who I cause Amino Cassende, Joe fencing and Joe track, doctor. You can see Joe fencing.
So I'm aware about it. You inherited the system from Joe. In fact, maybe if you have reports, now, we say reports, NDC for me, sure some kind. The minimum is some way to use it to accuse certain people because on the first part of reports, area from Pomboati indicates measures na interministerial committee na take, and amongst them was to basically map out all concession areas and geofence excavators so that in 10 months you did not inherit it. Are you going to say that on record? How many money to continue that train of things? Number two, respond because Nina, you got it wrong. And one can say, Mubekwa big wigs in Kwan. Moka say, in fact, small or more pits in Mono. President Mahama, Ejina platform, so Eka so Bejao. Into Kofa, obey you on my free prison day. After Adena or Moyo focus.
First of all, Obi able to make us say, never funny or to also. But you bizarre on Ton and Oba, I know the best exposure. Would you fencing, how many companies did you start with? How many people, how many small-scale miners were geofenced at the time of leaving office?
I think it was about, I can find it for you.
How many companies?
It said 3,000.
Who was the contractor? Who was the... You see, Bajo, it is neither here nor there. Let us be, Rakojo, the reason why President Mahama said there is a need, said he be him of free prison, was that Ubako mining site, no be say want to me the bonnet. No, I the same side. Now, but for every debon, yet you want to me any ajano. A chap of friend and near jailino. A chip party people like Charles Bisu. So today, I'm using you were in power for 8 years. Hold on. That's why I'm assuring you.
The lies are NDC for Abaimo catcher Ghana for. Now more mining areas or more catcher Galam say you buy a bema to me. I sure say more motion. Video now. Ye catch a small scale galamsey for a pits in Muse, NDC badge or Mahama by a Bemama Tuama Jumane so say producer 80 million one cat one fact Pasubianca, Mina me patrol casa, me Maoka Nina, even though I didn't agree with any of it into my swimming flow. I'm deputy director of communication. Although there no movie from side to side, then go for ne kasa say MPP for no muguma juman way den. Ye ba mama to galamsey no. You Lucy mining areas nina. The behavior of MP no ne Asutifi North and South MPs nina chair say Oma who saw Oma and Shea Ombe Luso mu seats because of the air course. Meaning so a second video of Yera Collins down there bar out and not all chiro mumu say say big company ne kwa wo na onko tu mu ade na obeba be pamo minim say kwadwo hu say video na che say utimi hu say abro ne so ompese ne manfo ne be dwen say or say omadwuma nti me is very clear say ndc for apo ma hu say mo anhwe yi galamsey for na o sponsor am no si say mo ntimi nko mo so mo ko mo so nso a mo be lose seats na na si say atomo eyi amon hu de mo nya mo ho. And now with this Galamsey fight, dream kesiye na mode ye Ghana for. You made it so political to the extent say na mo pese obi agidi asem ne ba ya jema wonto mi din no ba. Wonto mi say oja man in be 2 years ni so ade na deteriorate na deteriorate onye mo den bi o. Yo ti say mo wa ben mo ka che say soldier bebre wo Ghana, police for bebre wo Ghana, mo ba mo betimi stop Galamsey e di 10 months a dey deteriorate na deteriorate. E beda so bia na mo nko for say mo nko for na mo nsane nemu na fe mu DC pamo blue water guards ya te say chairman bia yes
this is pam.
Oh, there's a news story that there was an altercation me hwehwe am. Mo national national security for ni na Erastus reports on it. National security for timi kwaji obi mine it sees adwuma saa na afa we nso koso afa na ye hu se real Galamsey for no are in power and some am kan ye nyina because you had no plan. Also say oba one of the things are okay say motimi aye basically alternative livelihood program and nso enya de foforo and amodiaba mo say rebranding of existing things and kwana mo ye better than when you headway. Galamsey Ghana ha over several years. MPP by ye kakra it did not give us the results that we wanted. No, you expect to say that amu ye nyina on Galamsey mo ba ye you will do something different and now ye amaye who say you have some seriousness to this matter, but we don't see that. Yet you way na way more court say because at the end now you don't have any better way of dealing with the matter. Idea I very funny so with this matter and say someone who bill a amount I demand or more MP no. And he say the SMBC or Ghana and NDC near the way we deal with it is different. A MPP near the way we deal with it is different. Not many is messam and acquire man answer because question them who hear me pa AI and way because all cast a dual fence and cry. It's not the same as supposedly using AI to fight Galamsey. Ghana for now is at least the difference between both regimes in the handling of Galamsey and say at least hereby we put a halt on all mining. I don't know scale state of emergency and multi opposition mu ye hu dede sponsor anko for more multi omuhugu abontin so be protest cry mobile so muntimi nye Eli, Debia Mubekache is a mobile repeal airline. So you are pushing it forward. But gold board now must set it up now. Air to gold the free some minus way and I do this your mumutimi pass a gold board bill. Into how do you expect the people of Ghana to take you serious, especially on this matter of Galamsey? Politics amudiye inti Galamsey will be the biggest albatross around your neck as a government, and you wait me take it from me. You better be sorry be na asem foforo, and it always involves a high-ranking member of the NDC. Inti say money omu na etu Galamsey. Ya tro omu sponsor am no mo topic up sama mo no omu yese am mo no omu yese am. E better na mo wait me akọ omu so akwachi omu.
You just some topic up mama.
Oh, when who said Association of Small Scale Miners that will pick up some NDs? And I may say, what course are mining areas?
Small scale miners are now
Galamsey. I feel you winning difference. I feel NDC for winning difference between small scale miners and Galamsey.
What are you saying?
Okay.
This is not the first time we started talking about it.
And
I saw a little intel and our course our mining communities for now to tour manu be so more. Or money monko for mo ye Galamsey. No money monko for mo sponsor politicians in that enclave. We know what is going on.
Obeyano. Mama inko break mra. Ba no ye. Enko take your first your second break ba near to us. All right, I come you to Nnawotwe Jumedi. Remember, kabari me more 2 minutes. On so for 2 minutes and a half to us.
The American say, say be me by no pe wanya hoden pa waka Galamsey asemi. Ka kwa mze wa da ibetu nya atwom ade so na MPP begu.
Betu wan
nya atwom ade so. Because offer. Efie nwotwe. Motra di so de mowre sam ho de nam gu so saa mo ntimanya ho. And you expect, say, in just 10 months, no refusal and say, dear, didn't fear the NHF that couldn't tell. I am happy. The kind of confidence you have in President Mahama and the NDC government. Senka was it within Bosome it was here. Yeah, that's it for that confident repose in us. But Tiasia Precope. Say in so many Coseno, a quiet being a kubu munia. We are building it bits by bits. When you about keep repeating, I'm saying no brofu be deteriorating. And yeah, brofu, all the bars and theatres of purchase are at Debbie, yes, and it's
very good.
Obia or cancer and say, God, I'm saying, nay, what work where you could have so. Of our own say, not I'm saying, Fuaji, Jimra, offensive tablets, Afao Hills, Subri Quabritu, Asenayo, Denzri, Atiwa, Pramprama, one more job or so a gun and Timu Ram, Udria Erastus, Eka oneself from 2023 to December 2024. Galam says are taking hostage. Illik armed Galam says, a been a quite attacking Erastus in the team. Ewa man say, it took the intervention of God and the Erastus as to in less than 11 months, so quiet in Aminuaba, true uncoding any love for God and country, Yakunkodian Sa Jama, my Ghana. So, how do you say, and the Galam say, not yet to say? Small scale mining. Now, wow, Casaminuaba, no Casecan. Say, people cannot even tell the difference between small scale mining, legal small scale mining, and Galam say yes. Because Nkophobia, the lances, but you're more than Galam say. Or Hene, and then we know Casay, Ya Yeshimukrojama, 278 licenses. Na almost omukita legal licenses, but omuye Galam say ya hotro omunina licenses through omunsem. We are moving step to large scale mining companies as well with this aboneno. A typical one of them was Akwanta Mining, who has a large scale concession, yet will be a gate, you know. Galam say Nibia be no a gate fee of 300,000. No, this is preliminary report for Yeni Attorney General. I'm speaking to our report. I'm not speaking to matters in court. I'm speaking to our report we presented to the Attorney General. And which report do I have further investigation in the court? I'm not speaking to matters in court. I'm speaking to a report, official report the Ministry of Lands had presented to the Attorney General. And then, one was when you're born, the general manager said, Umo for so Momo Ura, Nibri Forest, Koyega, mine, and Anamuni permit.
I found that manager,
Manager, yes.
Prejudicial. Not their
oh, no, come my word in the sense of Aminam Dishana. Until today, if we have been able to stop Akwanta mining from causing the bleeding, how does that make Galamsey deteriorate? It's rather getting better. And your mess is a problem now. Share bit to say Amanzule. Offer Opa ma produce and farm Manzule River. And two ski enemies say, I know 2024 River Manzule. Mean Uncle Brandon or Dominance because Uncle Brandon would have better down. When the sea is on high tides, see no pronodia no pushy band Obaka say Niate, I know they mean for your politics, may environmentalists, me but Amanzule no year subontain, I know they are done about Bino. Go and look at the video in 2024 and compare it to 2025. Ko Achima Bisim, so be a friend of River Ura, a tenant in a cobo, Bremu, Ajankwana, and or Numbremu. And now must call your operation in just 2 weeks. Go and look at Hawa River Ura and when it. Yanka say Galam say it's over in this country. Yanka say a thing yet was here in 10 months. But the air can say, Babi and Yejina when we took over, Yenina Hobium. And positive signs have begun to show on the wall. She said, for the first time, I buy yen she say, before Obikra Benya license or small scale mining will be so no. Yenti a different local mining committee and anonymous can be empowered and anonymous. Nanano ba. What do? It is new. It is new. It is new. Because there was no structure. Pacho Obia onimi mining rules and the mining say there has never been a local layer for proper checking. No watchdog against people who do not want to do responsible mining. This is the first time. This is a novelty. And cooperative mining, I hope I say, Ufran to Makase community. Indeed, cooperative mining, no, she no free community mining, not lepon. But they be a meka, Said the wire galamsey who 5,000 Ghana cedi da me nua kwadwo. Enya de a wo one alternative livelihood so on konkoton awie so obeton. Onkopam atare obepam. So person create real livelihood alternative there. You must create it in the same mining sector, but this time with environmental conservation as your hallmark.
But that was community mining.
Enti community mining amokoya ya yenti differentiate between any galamsey. Community mining amokoya ya edi krodi ato so na party chairman MP or this year or na edi no. And then we are giving true no. I'm not telling you why you lost in every constituency you implement community mining. Because Kurono Sabe, and then if you want one of the most discerning group in this country is the Ghanaian voter. And to win for Adom Medada, and then we are giving true ownership, and that is the main feature of the cooperative money, true community ownership.
And the Moyana Menro no say be a son. What will be the other?
That is why we have what we call community development fund. And that is why we are not taking away the skills development program out of it. Until it comes there, no. DNP SDP a skills development program. Yes, in plain those who want to do mining, there is a pathway. But when we are kumanu a person yansa there is skills development aspect. Traffic by pointed to just a single community infrastructure. Community mining omoye no mutimi nya bibi free mu edc project bi okuro one just one. But as we speak, we have allocated a certain percentage. Whatever comes from that community cooperative, is geared towards community development. Enti kuro no abet na say, ye pese e ko boda na sebi atiefo anya hwefo fanche me. Ye pese e ko bonsu, ye pese e ko si asopiti. Ye pese said ye be ya wo china bi, maami abrewado ko ti kuro mu ha won ko too gold ne bi nya direct benefit no. Ono so ko asopiti no be nya benefit. This is how you can tell and support a community. Na obi bia wo kuro no be benefit from the mineral blessing that they have. Enti abai your friend multi-pronged approach. Enya de ba ko ne ye. Niema beye num na to preku ye ni na kakra and that is why we believe so there's no need for state of emergency. Said a while kind 20 months and the President Kufuor declare moratorium against mining, small scale mining in this country. 20 months, within that 20 months now the highest output of gold in this country. Gold never hineba. Okay. And it is not about declare moratorium or say we are state of emergency. It's about beyond the state of emergency. After say declare ban, what is next? And that is how a good word want to be a long-term plan be after 20-month ban. Call back here saying so. Call back there say we want to solve the problem from the root, and we make sure say Galamsey will be a thing of the past.
And that's why you don't have you've not instituted a single measure to solve the problem that did not exist. So you cannot tell us say you want to solve the problem. Galamsey Asinsensemi, it has been with Ghana before I ran Nnawotwe about 2017. In fact, no a problem Ghana for ama or Kase or the presidency or the better line this for Galamsey. In the end, 2017 na Galamsey by na yenti mianye and na momaba. And the sanka with Aaron Nnawotwe, so he took over from John Mahama. So that time also mo went to me and Mamu Minister Krabbe say he has given up on the fight. Into why kaka where kaka nawaba not the no. Because of your experience over the 8 years, it's me who say, Moon society, the mistakes I you are not even learning from me to improve. Baby, I'm more con munya results. You catch your mom, Kasa, because we've been there for 8 years. After 8 years, you notice problems, improvements in Yama, we can make things better. No, until I hear about me, I do a proper plan. Obi who's our plan, which means say, oh, Nyansa wom, a dear way, ye be that you try a day impuntu beba Galamsey, what they are to chain. And yeah 8 years na my problems na mo kwa no masesa din no mo kwa no masesa din no niama mo ka se mo beye kra no muntimi nye because still as small boys here na mo chiomo big wig back one they said nipa mo de mani asana epe na mo timi esa I've also seen a lot of experts in the mining field and so mo beka say case ni kra no I don't want to go on that tangent because of but oh share that's all the baby obi a ye de nipa miensa akogina court ne ya ma offer say wo de ne begia wo say obeka asemfa oboss on ebeja, most people would do, and for that the manner in which as our plea was regional, I think credibility is a Papa Nibenya a lot of credibility issues because it's in his interest. So obenya at asembonia can find a boss. That I don't want to go into that matter. We expect that there's an improvement. There is no Caribbean himself mobile galamsey improvement be in fact Cape Coast for it's been months. Cape Coast for Ninsio. What's the problem? Galamsey. Erastus Hawa Koomson ono debia update ye kakra on this matter. I say don't be deceived. Oh, I didn't free so. Basically, as a man no can say river and cobra no, it is not clear and it is not clear tomorrow. So at the end so it is deteriorating. Galamsey has been in the news every week for over the past 3 months, and it's always for something negative. It is always showing an involvement of somebody in government. Ye be so TV ye be Galamsey bia na ya ban ni pabi e na akoye bibia as abasema ye ka ho asem. And then Saturday pay ya jaya betina hey enye aban nipa mienu e na omakoye bibi ntimi ye ka Galamsey ho asem na Cape Coast for Ninsio enu ntimi ye start ka Galamsey ho asem omo ye scientists abeka che say Ghana's ye water quality index it has worsened over the past 10 months nti den pa na wa ye opese ye bonsem
oh ye mpesa wo de accident na ye journalist nya no de shame fi say
and the EPA
there no almost mogo so checks, you know. Some Galamsey's threaten confronted your friends team na no more digicide and omufi hono and no can be konya.
And said it looks like they are getting emboldened. Hubris ne wo hose so munya kukudro difference be and I put it to you say akukudro difference no munya na unholy relationship and no money NDC for wedding and as so mo feel so ma ban aba me sure say NDC for buy ya okay aseme si wo boase you soldier for 222 Minim so okay na. And that was also the first display. Honana warning signs it was on the wall and Ghana for us because of the election and shed and fire Adrianko. E hono mo ka che say o mabanyaba inti obi antimi nkanche omo de omonye. And that is what we are seeing systematically. There be because omo emboldened. Because untimi medada me say we more chichemu no and na more problem and that is the reason in TMPP losing mining areas because now Nnawotwe he was happy to suffer some political consequence to solve this problem. Still there were some lapses because Galamsey fights it's not an easy thing. Adia sikaka humbiano ne very difficult. It is said Colombia for any Mexico in Yomuko Kenya. But because the amount of money ultimately free mono and that is why we've always maintained say so person solve Galamsey it requires a different approach. So we find a way I'll bet and mebunu aye and that has always been the approach of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Momo you are all going back to the same problems somewhere. How has it been to use security personnel to arrest people in the pits since when there is something new? The last time another reverend the forestry commissioners at a panel biso or see how much Chinese for and no they mystery and coming with them in yes to Chinese for with regards to Galamsey at mobile the moya and they say moon na man more small be maybe Chinese for 4 Ghana for 10 news you've not done anything and it doesn't show any improvement because yes you started to check Ghana for more mining pits more you started to check Chinese for inti quite ben so pa na mode be improve the system because me I want to mean to hand up in country me say Galamsey no it is getting better it is getting worse. When's the last time out to say Hawa Koomson road you don't even need to veer off the road. I'm quite so to me who the ekoso e wo ho e was see any break near solve the problem yi
yo me da say
Kawari.
Me time I'm sorry. I was accident PDS
so baby because on to now for 4 years. You can't use that as an assertion. Make us a mistake. Yes, now so 8 years. Yeah, near maybe. Yehudi uncle ye. Any coming up say I dear we see ever fight here. Just say you create a system and go for bit me I do more monsa common. Our moon say in Siono and Neasasi, and we came up with a plan. Manka said it's me ye be. And by that same analogy, what from 2012? Nagalam say,
your point, me arbitraries and Abekasa. Na ya recruit to doctor. No Abeka in this one. But be a one on them one until I say, as someone can as a bed of 4 times. Ya bed of 1 time, as some no na, and no man them call. Because you, Kodo. This percent can be better than no pain. Tobo,
Yanko PDS. Metamaso, Yanko PDS. Yanko PDS. PDS. PDS and ECG. Onim say arbitration court. International Court of Arbitration at the ruling on arbitration case at PDS at the better him at the Aba. Nanona PDS actually say or J ruling tumna and the lawyers so. Shemuye na se hu hia so omo the review bi aba so on behwe the aba o say o confirm so omo legal team no currently reviewing the detailed decision to determine the next steps. But quote, PDS respects the integrity of the arbitration process and confirms that its lawyers are studying the detailed decision to advise on the next steps. In PDS and seminal. I'm just waiting also just if doc because my mother has here pray
Actually, some people say we are going to this year. We more energy field. Say that concession agreement. It was inherited, and I'm a companies here. The only thing that changed was the merger of the companies. I am happy say yetimi chucky some success with this PDS idea because arbitration we didn't go and be cost on my Ghana financially. And see, I think it's a step in the right direction. I know so the vindication baby but I know say NDC4 they always try to do some gymnastics. And TV show is to cry a lot of gymnastics to involve people in Myanmar. Nancy saying PDS and sense me and I think we should even go to the root cause. No more beboa ECG for no more to me I'm making omuju no efficient. Or share MPP ne the way we go about our things we are not against privatizing some of these state interests to bring efficiency. And I'm a kind NDC for this concession agreement with ECG no ya dia almost started. Who said President Mahama Nsokwara said the PDS was not a problem, it was the handling. But I think say we should be happy say at least systems will come higher juma. Say who say nkrata ni be a PDS edeba for the contracts no enya valid no. Yewa His Excellency Nana Dankwa cancel contracts no. And the whole thing was handled in such a way said the loss to the state has been very minimal. As occasioned by arbitration ruling. I think the only thing I lose here grants from Americans with that regard. And just to say, we are hoping say you are able to manage the system efficiently.
Kobori.
They mean you by kind no yafa. Nemum. Say obi di ahwede ebafie na once na ba nya ahwede no nko na ebua no fo de odi ahwede no ba e no ono so ebua no fo bia eyeye Ghana mpenimfuo ban ne ede yewre ejidie ene ebibia hye omumu akwadwo wo na yese wo ni PDF nkotena kokoam ni kokoam nkomo na nkrata asem bi ebema PDS dwumadi a wo bedie ndimu no hefo ne de dwumadi jawo owura Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Baomia owura John Peter Mawu owura Benjamin Ajay Media Director eye die na mmara say ade a ye condition precedent kwadwo ye ti hay kaboro obetimi aba Adom TV studio first of all I was say management and the party agree who is coming. Management amount time, producer amount time, and some obetimi by his condition precedent. Asante say yanko twa ye na. Nti se obeda I was only kakoto condition precedent. Aye dey na Dr. Mamudu Bawumia amukotena oye hwe. Emma ade a wase agi ansana na motu bia wo hwa yetimi atu. Wo mu jai di kwahye se mu de muntu na mu akire na mo de aba when condition subsequent. Tieto mienu. Aye dey na PDS timi ko fa fake insurance guarantee ni bank guarantee bae. Na economic messiah Owura Dr. Mamudu Bawumia having worked at the Bank of Ghana, having gone to Zambia to support their Zimbabwe. I want to question my economy. Have you ukoto brodo aji so this can
was it the one in charge of the economy?
Okoye awaba na omu inflation in 1000.
Was he the one in charge of the economy?
He was not in charge of the economy.
Na Okoye kwede. Final 20 mate. Me say someone who has worked in the central bank before could not identify a fake bank guarantee. Accepted fake insurance guarantee and fake bank guarantee. Now, document about one project about one agreement about one contract if your vice president.
But was he the one on the board?
If your vice president can cause this blunder.
How did he cause this?
But was it the one on the
one
board?
feeling no I got to buy a bit to no my or see be when he fail.
Maybe how did he
When to me and be when the document
tobo and now can't send him money.
I don't pay.
But
I don't pay
tobo
patron
and they mean to say
patron tobo and your
PDS yes.
More baby. Is it what you want to touch our
opposition leader?
Oba hekil bema dia ndi enyo boni. Bema hekil oba dia ba se Javan kasa Javan kasa. Is it when you know what the feminists na mugu krom ha. Mo ma bema kasa. Ghana for mo sorry o. Ghana for mo sorry eye munti. Ana kwadwo ndi doctor eye misano. Mo make am asem. But what I say? It's vice president. No, what me what me when you are clapped about
Mr. Vice President. No, committee.
What can committee?
Oh, there, Mammy call Richmond Hobeba. Mammy call
Richmond from a Lucy. Sano, who may distort, who may disorganize me to
own disorganize it. Keep where you come back to it. Come on.
I never heard of phone, so I didn't know about me. Kasaya. My real phone.
Richmond Roxon Esquire, head of communications for the Ministry of Energy. Richmond, good morning. With us, here.
Morning, Minute saying.
I would, when it comes to your friend the ruling, I'm sure they be out from where you said to you. It will be a kinkan. Ruling incident, what are the details?
My main share with you when that was for the opportunity. Issues now, PDS, what they call arbitration. Basically, what they were looking for was $391 million and some other relief for the termination of the concession. Now, the concession, if we recall, in 2014, government of Ghana, the United States government, was signing the MCC compact. At the time, the United States government gave Ghana about $500 million to improve the power sector. Now, one of the things that the government was expected to do was to introduce private sector participation in ECG operations to improve ECG's overall performance. Now, the administration at the time, John Mahama's administration, was starting process now. Was a number of international companies expressing interest. Unfortunately, the NDC lost power in 2016. The NDC losing power in 2016, the Akufo-Addo government in 2017 overthrew a process. almost a process, instead of continuing with what had been started, was to start a number of, or making a number of changes to what the decision has been. A very significant part of it here, structure now, ownership structure of the concession. One worker, the Ghanaian should have 51%, and then the foreigner or the investor will have 49%. Ordinarily, it's not a bad idea, but there are issues. If you want to do that, you look at. If you are looking at a concessionaire, the concessionaire was expecting to raise over almost $600 million. If you are doing 51% for Ghanaian, what it means is that they're expected to raise over $250 million. Do we have the capacity? Now, we call through process now. They selected Miracle as a concessionaire. They added 3 Ghanaian companies and 1 Angolan company, all forming what today is known as PDS. Now, they didn't have the capacity. That is something that we all know. And there will be a lot of condition precedent. Before agreement, I don't know, before agreement, there are a number of things that you have to do. Now, those number of things, one of them was bank guarantee and or the mass for ECG's assets. Because you're transferring ECG's assets to them, at any time, if they're unable to fulfill their obligations, what you do is that you trigger the bank guarantee. Now, at Akaba assets at the moment, the PDS couldn't provide that. They engaged government, and then government again changed it from bank guarantee to insurance guarantee. The insurance guarantee now the apparently it was fraudulent, wasn't valid because company now the man our cost our Qatar they didn't have the capacity to do. The government terminated the concession agreement. PDS has not been happy since then, and then they've engaged in a number of legal battles. They went to court in Ghana. They lost in 2021. They went to arbitration, London Court of International Arbitration. And this time again, so what they are looking for, they've lost. So that's the background. And for us as a government, it's good news. What it means is that ECG any liability there, and the government of Ghana does not have any liability towards PDS. Okay. But actually, what I have said so far and where we are, we shouldn't have been here in the first place. Abandon down or yet due diligence or call through the process or making sure that the local companies will capacity, or making sure that the concessionaire will capacity, and can even get to the point where they will present a fraudulent document that will lead to termination. Okay. Basically, that's where we are.
But when we now with chairman, I've read there wasn't there one and over banda down Ebinum was a banker 190 million or so because of them development. Also, then to them.
No, what it is in the concession, no, I'm almost 500 million to be specific. No, $498.2 million. Okay. But then you used to be Mawaka 190. By virtue of that decision, American government cancelled compact because of how the process had gone. If we lost $190 million anchor, those monies would go into helping ECV's reforms. That money is not money that is sitting, it's money that was due us as a country because of how the processes went within the period. You lose the miskano. The only now, Attorney General is looking at it. Number one, to recover the car no PDS because PDS were managing, revenues were paid to them, and those monies still sit with them. They were in charge of the assets. Some assets still sit with them, and then on top, the Attorney General is looking at the options here because we lost that money through the actions of some people. They're causing financial loss to sell whatever the issues will be. He's looking at it, and at the right time, we exercise its powers and that. Either prosecute
or yesterday or a sky been more for Z.
That be. Or a sky under the compacts, Now, US why agreed to give Ghana. Now you use the part. Balance Waka 190. Because of that action, American government withdraw the miscon. They were from Ghana. But in the last couple of months, His Excellency President, Honorable Minister and our Finance, they've been engaging to see whether it's possible for us for the government of America to reconsider its decision. Because here, no, the government has also approved there by private sector participation in ECG. But this time around, no, they're looking at billing and collection, and hopefully, as has been the case in the past, about a year, diligently under Zomama one and at the time acting power minister Nnawotwe, that process will still be seamless for us to get a concession.
Okay. And to say, or what charge be more? Be one what charge and what them 190 something.
I believe there. I don't know. Yeah, Attorney General, but I don't want to be the one to put that out. I'm sure that now over the period, there are a number of investigations ongoing relating to PDS. I'm sure that always one of the issues I want to work is investigating PDS, and that's one of the reasons to former finance minister. And apart from that, I'm sure the Attorney General himself will have a strategy and then how he wants to go about retrieving the assets and holding people accountable. But the assurance is that people will be held accountable for their actions that led to this bizarre PDS. And then every single penny, every single asset of the state of ECG that sits with PDS will be recovered. That you have the assurance of government.
Now, a car privatization beyond him for the addresses, yeah.
What did I say?
Privatization of ECG, na him for the address.
No, see, first one, the cabinet approved process, to bring in a concessionaire and a number of concessionaires to look at billing and collection for ECG. At this point, they are in the process. The committee has presented a report in the process of engaging the transactional advisor. Once the transactional advisor is engaged, to advise on how the transaction should go. But learning from the past and how PDS has gone, the government's indication is to look for a number of concessionaires. Consider in the past, they both share ECG asset in Adama, one company. This time, they are looking at multiple concessions so that when it comes to the risk, you'll be able to mitigate that. So let me reiterate that the government is not selling ECG. The government is not handing over ECG to a private company. The government is looking at private sector participation in an aspect of ECG, which is billing and collection. Therefore, Ghana, which market the Greater Accra or Kojo Brace, remove from Greater Accra, so another company, so that you'll be able to monitor and track and hold them responsible for what they do instead of one company. That's where we are. I'm sure that with time, there will be briefing to the government on the selection, the process for selection of the concessionaire.
Okay, all right. Richmond,
I mean, usual opportunity. It's something that I'm doing since I'm here. Anytime all light bodum. Number one, we are not having any load shedding. We don't have any power issues. We recognize us and from time to time there are people who may have challenges. Be a BBS in the area and the light to. All light to Michelle immediately for ECG 0302 611 611 and lodge a complaint to them. Technical team, Baba Boshe, they will look at the problem, they will call you, and then they will ensure that it's resolved. If you all like to do, I don't assume that there's anything like do or no set. There's nothing like that. Immediately call ECG, go to their office, contact them via email or any of their social media platforms, and then they will respond to it.
Okay, all right, Richmond, Richmond Roxon Esquire, the head of communications for the Energy Ministry. Yeah, Kabiru.
What's that?
That's I'm for the government and abrogate contract.
Now, wako fadia uya na ushechire boni officer na yacho na say machomwa. Do you know that you were in this country when him know inside minority 4 year answer na sa contract no kwa terminating. But yaba yese kofa bank guarantee bra. That is to test your capacity. Say ochina bia na ototo ye edwumaku na say a ebetimi trigger that guarantee. Na kabi kura ni aye de atwa ye ho bi. Also wini that would have been the end of the whole agreement. Owura Alhaji Bamudu Abia said that mo anya de amonko for insurance mbara.
Again, if you don't have evidence of
he was the lead.
Was he the energy minister?
So government of Ghana set up a committee for a takeover. Now vice president or sector minister now sector minister no move the head of the team. Masa, I said medical catchers as them when you one dance here. As some no be no twa ho dia dance here. No say corner go for insurance bra. Or say go for insurance guarantee by ya. Insurance is fake.
We did not constitute a single committee, formal committee for PDS takeover.
Enti guarantee and as a contract back up Penkrata, Dr. Mahmoud Bami and Marivim. You have found my 16 regions and Krata Meguni tables. And this will be to a over to a I don't think me oversee for media. I am happy. Say, the Queen now PDS if woman as who the infantry, the audacity. Somebody here court. I yes a bua bomb. But the only could be an anonymous to minty. The bua bomb. But said the American, a my papa. The Minia Rich Kaino, Ura Mahama, Ura John Abdullah Jinapo, Ura to Forcing. A sham come pass here. Here say US are buying Sika or they none of go forward no Rama Mudu Bamiamu Hinti, or Tremua Amabium. I best said to me, Abba, yes, not out to him. Munkanian Gredens and Munani, a bit to me a tribute of class. Now, omuni this one for so. That is how we build the
almost half truths ne propaganda omo ye enti anakoyo enya asem ye no bi na menu ate Haiti. Na koyo asem. Minim say ye yewura
na koyo anya asem. What's it? Na koyo anya asem. Who ye dance ni who ye dance
okodi ya ne twedi edi ebi bi na wo ye. NDC for who say yewura about me minim di so te ne baby odwen ne ho mo na mo wa ba mu aniama na efofo mu amonhu mo left from mo right otone baby sa PDS bibi amubeye bia mo pete mo pe kwan bi de ne bem but enyo ono na ote aban mu yakofa eba scandal ebebo no ema you abrochefo nyina investigate Ghana president sending nua akwaje 4 million euros because of play
ebas na omadi mu asebo wi
na yeti say yeti aban mu wafa ye nua take over black voter mine eba se president yetimi nya ne ho nsem ka corruption ni sa nyama ne kan ye mrete semo
maza
sa matter of PDS number 1 let me put it on record say there was no committee there was no formal committee set up for PDS but NDC so they know that they cannot compete say ba say yenka say we be say they cannot compete into omotena kwa entro bro mo bre yo mutimi edi yeraba me abehye PDS mu kra kire say papa no ne hu ni problem and a guarantee is a guarantee omuko arbitration if the fact that so asem na mo kan kra mo bre yes mo kwenya papa ne ho asem de munya a guarantee if that thing was even a problem it would have shown up in the arbitration. But the issue was that guarantee corona finally was fictitious. It wasn't not that the problem was a change from a bank guarantee to an insurance guarantee. The processes are bank loan the underwriters. There's an insurance and a compliance department in the bank. Making sure say 1 year liability. And it's the same processes for an insurance guarantee. Me metina hanye mo when you can and so money international organizations I investigate mo mo president ni nua indicted. Mo na yete ha black voter mine upper east so saying president Otia Kunya so ni nua agye aboso ankofo ni omo
business.
Maybe then the other people, the Azuma resources, but there was that back and forth. I truly believe that so if you want to go on that tangent, they came out several times. Now for job letterhead. Now But the loan for this thing only came up when a Minister of Finance, what I think one of the banks in the African countries. And see, if you want to misalign and malalign people, it's very easy to do it about your people. But to be able to say, I mean, it's neither here nor there. Especially when MPP abanya and I who say the guarantee was fraudulent. Yantina and Sasso Antina and so say ye Janisa.
Kabori is so more because I go that's enough.
I was empire woman.
Be phone lines.
I was empire woman say I no pennies or powder for our daughter. And then dear Mr. of Medigan 12,000. The MPP should set me nearby free. Very fine personality. But you know what they are saying is also. Because Kwado said ye, Mammy pa would have called social media and her Facebook Live was the man for born na home for Nadia so fancy or you pa. Nelson Nassam no can Mamma Najuma. Pinuaba, a dear Ned, there's so soon. Ah, what do I tell you? What do I tell you? Now, multimedia would have said, ah, me ba ebia Savannah Regional. Kabore so Kabore FM honum. Na mpese metra me nkura batam. Me ne Kabore enhihye, maje Kabore FM abeka multimedia busuaku kese no. Eno boni be ne ho. Me ne Kabore dia no, wo a me Kabore so obeje no. Boduma wura tui ama me so ma pene maje na wode ama eno no ba TV so fa PDS ho sai. My
only issue was that problem now. Obi oye vice president or Tinibe, Mesum Ghana or Wakotine or Jane. Who didn't run same way?
Why said that show by Kutupa? And I'm wanting to Mamma Cousin say, oh, say. We are some more nipa bu ho the yeshira no yeshira no na so ura mahama moka say DKM nyina na dia moka say na yire ene ne papa yi wo hotel wo Dubai moka say but that we are so they all ka wanu no kra no waka ka chira wasem adanse wo ho is it not true say president vice president Mahmoud Bawumia was part of the team that led the PDS.
There was no formal committee. Computer woman ewa ha. There's committee that was set up. Okay. There was a problem with PDS. Buying na etia konya na so
mama me activate me phone line.
But propaganda
phone line no.
Propaganda
lines na that TV no so no. Na frɛ na ye ne won nko ye ntie wo so adwen kire. Enkoma ye do okay already enya aban to me fa aban. So say aban papa. Aban so ahoma.
Maninya aban papa o.
Aban good morning.
Mami tia me boss Kaboli. Kase nteme ba no office aban tia no. Na me tia nan for operation director Kenebua. Any land ministry ho nyina juma omu yeke omu be kuetia illegal money. Kase me sister say 8 years Ghana for the man oma ban eye Kufuado aban e die no mutimi di ye bua ye Ghana for Muba ya ahutide ye hu bi da kronu katati se project dream ana mudi breye aya na hu youth bi ti say ma mi say omuti MPP tia na mi wura hu am man Ghana ena mi nu kata hwe kwanya His Excellency President Mahama edi o man ya tutu kwan mu a ene ye sika temutina mu vice president amudi ni ba ye to ba be kuatia Ababe fighting, Ababe Magana dollar ejina. Obe free akonya to not dollar nam 18 cedi. Mudi ni ba brega na bote refa ni yede. Inti kati minister say, don't kata ba be mo ajite 30 years.
How do people lie with such
okay, all right. Yamfa Kofi. Kofi, good morning. Hello, Kofi.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
Bajo mamintiwe.
Pochom kasepi enzama.
Okay. Enzama we?
Jomro.
Jomro.
Oh, apo kenwe?
Nyamra Adom na dako.
Bete o. Mamidio.
Yo, Nnawotwe. The honor say Kabore. And this no Kabore. Ono intro
Ntolunso nikasantro masa amanzure nyakobo be yu asene amanzure omunye ganso omuda amanzure ene champion amanzure na ni black na yin so no ba bi so bi ofa okutwi amanzure dekwi okọ hospital na wo elembre odekwi amanzure ganso obi anye ganso omuda na ndi sifo na atro send them Mahama kan yes atro na mo de so population we atro ndi obi am strong when ayo akonya no bi anye ganso amanzure
Okay.
so no munjai
From the video.
All right, you. Me that say. Also, bet me a friend na yedi komo. Mohammed, good morning.
Morning,
Maminti we Mohammed.
Dere amiasi. But discussion amu yedi papa because I see akimoda. Echanka mankwanta, kubu efre ni chanka mankwanta. Na Mr. Kabori de oye good papa me follow na che. Saying this for communicators bia amon ko radio station bia so. Okasa papa. Na Mr. Stanso ono so ye good. Na so ne de emsa amfama no. Say o defending na enyeyi. But Kabori de kasa de me papa seminya no pa kabano wan bi ni be shia pa. Di Kabori ma Mr. Stanso ono so ye good bet. Ndede amfa.
Okay. You. Mama for before fra how man so na me ndin komo. So for mommy, good morning.
Morning, no chief.
Mommy, meet you.
You are no pay them if you more than from Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Honorable Mabisa Koomson, Shell, Lloyd, Shell, JFK, General Secretary Papa Michelle, and pay. No question, the castle MP. Press conference away and away near Monson. So, a patch, a minister, Kawunim, of us president in the Chrome with Momo. If the Nigerian minister and one investigation, Uncle Katwa, and confirm Mabo and Tessa Nawaka and Obwa, they say Kasopo, you know, say, in quantum pontoon that then they try and the baby empty. It's in Reynolds Farm, on my trail, say, almost purpose to put in that then from the idea of Katwa.
Okay. And you know, Nadia the buyer, and no. Hello, Collins, good morning. Collins, good morning.
Morning.
Mbajo maminti we.
Na aya kuju ndc forecast me say say 2032 say then na sa tam no na omuntimi mbu man ni bi mana. Musa ban papa ba na de say then so na mbu ko wiye na 2022 na muntimi mbu man ni bi na sa tam den bipim dan ba dia na. Omunja sa omukasa no. En ko galamse ni so. Kuju I'm saying this is the idea who said in this phone. Now, so for us, then tell me, could you almost watch and more watch it? Almost bag, I'm saying, almost Kebija, no more could be the every side. The KB site, ya Kebby site, Madame my question is excavator. Obisu away is my young question excavator. I find one question, Obisu excavator. On the end, this means only.
All right, you, Mate, Medasi. My main comic chroma hunter was Naminchia. Of Edward Ansa or Chrome, Edward Ansa and Chrome, Michel Papa, Stephen Kujo, Ewa Chavane, Michel Wonso, Richard Yao Degbe, Ewa Akweda, Michel, Mosamo Shaya Papa, Paul Kweku, Ewa Cape 3 Point, Michel Wonso, Andrews Bedu, Ewa Achonwa, Michel, Richmond Mensa, or Lower Deskov, Michel Wonso. Lemuel Athabrace, I know I'm so share. Good morning to you. Francis Mensa Bedu, senior Bedubon, so senior high school, or no Sankor, Michel Papa of Francis Mensa Bedu. Frederick Quason, Butre, Mr. Frederick Quason, Michel Butre, I will show you. Ora Joseph Christian Kofi, JC Kofi, Buzia, Michel Wonso, Joseph Kujo, Jamra. Michiawo Godwin Tibua Acha Enyano for nyina Missima Bazawa but the Boduma Missima Momo to do one next time Sambo was also the Yamana na man that's where you intimidate Sana Peldo affiliate to house Minia Kabori PR the Motherlands Natural Resources Ministry Otenenka Dr. Equiamwako Deputy Communication Director for the Dr. Baumia campaign team. A member of the MPP's communications team. Wow, share the VIP, that's it. So to me, my account want to pay. On behalf of the production team, sound, camera, and you'll be no lighting for you now, Miss Medas. Yen Shabio, Yami Adoma, now try the good morning.